We got jokes, Russell, in the mix.
Airplane mode.
We're live. Look at that, Joe Russell, comedian. Hey, what's up, buddy? Dude, look at you. You're early, man. I tell you what, comedians are not usually early, and I appreciate it.
I've produced several podcasts, and that is true. But sometimes it's nice if you're not ready that they show up like 15 minutes late.
That's true. Well, 15 minutes, though, I feel like is a little bit too much. The 5 minutes late, I appreciate. But you showing up, what, 10 minutes early? Dude, everything was ready to go, so I appreciate you, man. How you doing?
How early could we have potentially gone? What if I was like a half hour?
3:47.
3:47.
Half an hour, no. Just because I'll keep everything, because like if I turn on the camera over here too early, the battery might run a little bit low, and then here might run a little bit low, so I just get everything started like, 10 minutes beforehand.
I
or
got
13 minutes beforehand, I should say.
Cool.
You got a nice little tan going.
I think it's just Italian.
Oh, you're Italian? Bro, by the way, I feel bad for saying, I asked Joe initially, I was like, oh, you coming from Bay Ridge? Big Jewish area. I don't know what the fuck I was saying there, man. I guess I was just like, I wanted the Jews to be included there. So that's why I said it.
A lot of people think I'm Jewish. I got the fro.
Yeah,
and
I'm Jewish.
Nice.
Do you not know that? Yeah, I guess you wouldn't know
I look more Jewish than you, though.
Yeah, I think so. But I'm a quarter Italian, too.
Okay.
I don't really have any Italian thing so much about me besides the fact that I'm a quarter Italian. I'm vegan, so I don't even eat pizza, which is an Italian thing, right?
You don't eat pizza?
I know, I'm not allowed.
What about a vegan cheese?
Vegan cheese I can fuck with, dude.
What is that shit?
But I mean, you have a show called The Cheese Show.
Yeah, sorry, you can't ever be on it.
I know. Well, we can't have a vegan cheese episode?
Honestly, that is our #1 requested cheese is vegan cheese. Like people in the comments go, can we have a vegan cheese?
Yeah, dude.
So, maybe it's going to happen eventually.
All right, well, I'll join you. Let me know, bro. But
okay.
it's been difficult to find a really good vegan cheese. I can't really say any specific cheese that I've had, like a vegan cheese wise, that's good.
I've been going to some of those cool little markets in New York where it's like super hipster and
the Union Square Market.
Yeah, like really cool people. They look like they just got off of like shooting a McDonald's commercial. And there's some crazy vegan looking cheeses. They look like birthday cakes. They look like 7-layer cakes. Like
Have you tried
they're so
it?
Fancy. No, I don't know. No.
You got to try it.
They look really
let
cool.
us know.
They look like fancy bars of soap that like you're not allowed to use there, like your grandma's house.
You know the thing? I would imagine that's where you'd probably find the best vegan cheese. Is that like a kind of outdoor market? It's not really in stores or not available yet. I don't know. Maybe it's because of the cost of the actual product itself.
Yeah.
Like to make it actually very tasty. It's not like you just go straight to the cow and
it
you
has
just
to be made in a
squeeze
lab,
and get the cheese. Yeah. Exactly. And that's kind of like the situation a little bit with vegan burgers now, but I've found a few that I really enjoy. Perfect Burgers, Dr. Prager, but the Beyond Burgers, dude, I used to like, but it's just too salty. I feel it the next morning. Like I can have one, but if I have 1.5, I'm fucked.
The shit they have to do to that stuff to probably make it taste like a burger is probably not good. There's probably a highly processed, because you're taking a vegetable and turning it into something that tastes like meat.
And doing all those drops in the lab and stuff. You know what I mean?
You're probably better off just having like a big mushroom cap or something like that.
Yeah, no cap, for real. And by the way, guys, speaking of vegan burgers, we have the first annual TEDJONESWORLD Neat Burger Vegan Burger Eating Contest on Labor Day, September 4th, 2 p.m., 25 Cleveland at Neat Burger. For free, you should stop by. It'll be fun. We're doing like a comedy show afterwards. But we did the 4th annual TEDJONESWORLD Vegan Hot Dog Eating Contest at the Moxie Hotel on July 4th. So I guess I'm becoming a connoisseur of vegan eating contests.
I had an ex once that was vegetarian, and when we'd make hot dogs, she would grill a carrot on the grill. Is that a thing? Have you ever done that?
No, but I have had carrot French fries before.
Okay.
And if they're very well done, they're good.
That's like a sweet potato, though.
Yeah.
Why not just go sweet potato?
Right. Well, I think you just put salt on it and you kind of chop it up in the formation that would be a French fry, and then it tastes pretty good. But that's weird. A carrot for a hot dog? That's a little too much. No wonder she's your ex, dude.
One time, me and my mom were partying. We were getting drunk, and we had a few drinks. We were like, being honest with her, and she's like, you know what? I feel bad. When you were a kid, you loved boiled carrots, and that's my one regret. I never made you enough boiled carrots.
Your mom said this to you?
Yeah, she said that to me, and I'm like, okay. That's the one thing you regret? Not like
That's a good
yelling
regret.
at us. Not like
Well, but honestly-
years of mental abuse.
But dude, to be honest, maybe you'd eat more vegetables these days. Maybe that would have worked out.
We had plenty of vegetables. We have one meat, side of veggies, a starch. My mom did a pretty good job at making like
likes the food pyramid.
Yeah, but that
The food pyramid.
Boy, that did not age well.
Yeah, the food pyramid.
Yeah,
dude.
Hey, you know what you should be eating? All grains.
Yeah, dude, it's messed up. It's crazy how like 50 years ago, I guess until within like the last few years, we've just really known nothing about food.
I think we still don't know anything.
Yeah, I think we're getting a little bit better with these documentaries, and people watch stuff on YouTube and be like, all right, well, in general, you shouldn't eat as much red meat as people are eating. Like the big steakhouses, people were dying a little bit earlier than they should have. So hopefully you and I live till 100. I don't know how you feel about that.
But then it all comes back around. Like, I don't know, like butter was bad, and then everyone had, I can't believe it's not butter, which turns out it's absolutely
Even
terrible.
worse.
That's just oil.
And now aspartame apparently in European nations is going to be outlawed pretty soon. Aspartame being in Diet Coke, which we had no idea.
Right. Doesn't that
causes cancer.
dementia or cancer?
Yeah,
okay.
stuff like that. So it's like, what can you even eat these days?
Well, they thought eggs were bad, and they're like, "Oh, just eat the white ones." I'm probably doing 1,000 people's bits right now.
Yeah, just eat the white eggs. What does it say on your shirt? It's
this is
a play on Reese's.
Yeah, this is I'm a Phish fan. Do you like Phish? You're Jewish,
Bro, oh my God. Dude, so Tobin Miller came on the show.
Okay. Okay, listen. I've been to 30 shows. He's been to like over 100. Yeah, so
30, I think.
I aspire to be Tobin Miller.
Okay, so 30 Phish shows. When did you start going?
Oh, I don't know, 2009 or something like that. My friends dragged me to them, and it took me to like the second one where I'm like, oh, I get it. But like they would play the recordings for years and years. I was like, this does not sound good. Yeah, I think you got to really be there live. It's just a party. Yeah,
right. I think you just got to see everybody else kind of vibing.
Yeah.
But what was the draw for you? Was it just like the calmness and the music, or what?
Yeah, it's just a big party, and I do enjoy the music. I listen to it not high. I actually like enjoy the music.
Right.
And then I just end up going to one or two concerts every year. So like one during the summer, one around Christmas time.
A Phish concert, you mean?
Yeah.
And you'll travel for it?
Not very much anymore. But back when I was younger and wasn't married and didn't have a relationship, I would go like camping and stuff and tailgating and stuff.
Where are you from originally?
Buffalo.
Yeah. All right. How'd you get down here to the city? You just like wanted to pursue comedy?
I had an internship at MTV. Music television.
Back when it was a thing,
Yeah.
dude. Freaking I don't know if I should say RIP MTV, but it feels like it. A little bit. I mean, just Rob Dyrdek is running the show.
I was just going to say I saw once it was just their schedule. It was all 24 hours of.
Dude, still Spectrum. It's just Dyrdek Fantasy Factory, Dyrdek ridiculousness. And then I miss Robin Big, though. That was like one of my favorite shows.
Yeah.
Unbelievable show. And it's sad how they had such a good relationship as bodyguard and talent. And then once they were both the talent, they couldn't really deal with each other, which is fucked up.
Yeah. But would you. Listen, you're a bodyguard and you become famous.
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
It might
You're like,
go to
sorry,
your head.
dude, I'm not going to take a bullet for you anymore.
Yeah, right. I'll take a check from you, though.
Now your
That's what he was
bodyguard
thinking.
has a bodyguard. It's like those eggs that stack into each other.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, yeah. It was like the
Russian
king,
eggs,
the queen,
the
and the
nesting
thing.
eggs.
Yeah, what are those called?
Russian
Russian
nesting
eggs? You just said that?
Yeah.
What kind of fun stuff did you do in Buffalo growing up? Snowball fights and shit?
I used to do magic.
Really?
Yeah.
What kind of... So you're a magician?
I'm retired. I don't like to talk about it.
Really?
No, I'll talk about it.
Yeah, come on. We're on the pod.
Yeah, when I was a kid, I was 10 years old, and I went to this magic shop that was in our area. And I bought like a magic trick, and I practiced it and did it for my family. And then I went back a few months later, and the guy was like, there's a magic club that meets here every month for kids. So I did that, and I did that for years and years and years, and became like the president of the magic club. And then around like 16, 17, I started doing like kids parties and like tableside magic at like restaurants and stuff like that. I worked in a comedy club doing magic at people's tables before the show started. So before I ever did stand up, and I did that for years and years and years, and moved here at like 23 for that internship. and I just stopped.
Did you go to college up in Buffalo?
Yeah.
What was what was your favorite trick? Are you allowed to talk about your favorite trick being a former magician?
I did a lot of card tricks. Yeah.
What was maybe the most difficult trick that you learned, that you mastered?
I would do sort of like improv magic, like
how do you mean?
So like jazz magic kind of. So like, you know how like a jazz band will like, let's like play in this key and we'll just like, they can just like jam, like 4 guys could just jam, sort of like Phish.
Phish, I was gonna say, yeah.
With card tricks, I was at a level where I could have someone pick a card and sort of improv through it and like have them sort of suggest the way they want me to find the card and just sort of play off the people, which I don't know. It's sort of like jokes and having like certain outs for jokes, if that makes sense. Like joke savers. Like you ever have a joke that bombs, but you got like a line that you do sometimes just to like, so you don't eat a dick.
Sure.
It's kind of like that, but with different card tricks.
Interesting.
It's very hard to explain without revealing anything. I'm not a magician, but I still respect it, and I wouldn't want to like give anything away.
What's the deal with that? Is it just like an secret?
If people know the secret behind the trick, it's no fun.
Right. So how do you even learn the tricks then to begin with?
How do you learn a trick?
Yeah.
Well,
if a magician's not allowed to reveal his secrets.
When I came up, it was like, and for all of history, it was books and learning it from other magicians. Like if
Houdini books.
Yeah. Like if you go to the library, find enough tricks that you can do and you get somewhat good at it and you meet another magician that's maybe like been doing it for longer than you and you're good enough, they might like take you and accept you and sort of, hey, try this.
Is that what happened to you?
Oh yeah.
In Buffalo?
Yeah.
Why'd you give it up?
I think I always just wanted to do stand up.
And did that start when you were doing tricks in the comedy club?
I always loved stand up, like ever since I was a little kid. And so I think magic was just a way for me to just do some sort of performing until I was
around people.
Yeah. And I like comics way better than magicians.
Okay.
I don't know. They're more fun.
Who's your favorite magician?
Penn and Teller? Teller had a heart attack though. Or like,
is that the bigger one?
No, the little one.
Oh.
Tell, he's the one that doesn't talk. He's the short guy.
Funny bit.
And that's the real names though. I think he had some heart problems, and so he's been out of the game for a little bit, getting like surgery and stuff like that. But they're back. I think they have the longest running show in all of Las Vegas history.
Houdini was a fascinating guy.
Houdini is so famous that that's actually a word in the dictionary.
Really?
To be Houdini'd.
To be tricked out of something?
Yeah.
One of the crazier tricks I had heard of, maybe I watched like a YouTube little short on him, but they were talking about how he was in a jail cell and he got locked in there without a key and he somehow got out because he was just visualizing the door opening. Do you know what I'm talking about?
So apparently Houdini was a very good magician. I couldn't tell you one Houdini magic trick. I know he's more famous for his escapes, I believe.
Well, is that kind of what I was
consider that an escape, getting out of a jail cell.
Yeah.
He would challenge, he'd go to different town to town and challenge people to like handcuff him and lock him in something and as a publicity stunt to get out.
So what would you think, being a former magician, that he would do to escape situations that are unfathomable?
I've never done any escapes, so I don't know. I assume he probably like knew how to pick locks. I don't know.
What was your favorite David Blaine escape or trick that he's done?
I actually met David Blaine.
Oh shit.
I worked with David Blaine.
Really?
When I was like, 15 or 16. There's no way he remembers me or...
Why?
I was like 15. That was like...
But he wouldn't be like, yo, jokes, Russell.
I don't think so. Maybe.
We got to get him on the pod.
Yeah. When I was 16, I went to his he had like this headquarters down by like, oh God, I don't remember where it was, like down by like the World Trade Center. Mm-hmm. And like I stayed there like overnight and like taught him like some magic tricks.
You taught him stuff?
Yeah. Cause he's always looking for material. He's got like, you know how like a comedy show has a team of writers?
Yeah.
Well, same thing with magicians that are famous. They have like magician writers that just like come up with stuff that no one's ever seen before.
What did you teach him? If you're allowed to talk about it.
I showed him this arm twisting trick that I do where you like twist your hand around. But he already like had something like that, but mine was a different way of doing it.
Some of the stuff that he's done, I guess when he's in public and he's trying to maybe, or one of the more recent things when he was in the hot air balloon, that was cool. That was like 2020.
Yeah.
I forget what the ending
when
of
he
that
was hanging
was.
upside down.
Yeah, was that it?
I think he was hanging upside down, and then at the end he was gonna fall down, but then they hooked him up to a balloon or something.
Yeah. I think
that was
that's
like the
what it was.
surprise at the end.
But him in Times Square when he was in the ice.
That's the one
thing.
he says he'll never do again. He said that was the worst one by far. Do you know why?
No, tell me.
So he was trapped in this ice.
In Times Square, right?
Right. And it's sort of like an igloo in there. So you're like, it's not even cold. It's like you're like protected. Like an Eskimo goes inside like an igloo, right? It's warm in there. But the problem was that there was a water dripping on his head constantly, just like water torture for 3 days. And he said he hallucinated for like he says in interviews all the time, like there's this one moment where he's just like hallucinating. He was just in so much pain, and he looked at the clock. He closed his eyes and he thought like 12 hours went by and it was like 1 minute.
Yeah. He like asked the guy outside. He's like, how long has it been? He's like, 1 minute.
Yeah.
Wild.
That's the worst one he said he ever did. When I was hanging out with him, that's when he was practicing being in the big fish bowl and holding his breath. So that was cool.
What's your favorite trick of all time?
My favorite trick
Or escape. Yeah.
of all time.
And do you fuck with Chris Angel? Where is he?
Chris Angel. He had that TV show,
Yeah.
which, you know,
Vegas. He was like levitating above that diamond.
you got to respect him. I liked his really early stuff. He used to have like these TV specials that no one remembers where he dressed sort of like the Crow. You know what I mean? Like, remember the Crow? Like, remember the wrestler Sting with like the white
I remember
makeup?
Sting, yeah.
So he's kind of like that. And he used to do like these crazy like art pieces, magic trick things where he would like be walking with a cane and then he'd start like walking up the side of a building. And I thought like that shit was really cool. It was pretty cool. Yeah. And then he did the TV show later on. But like that's super hard to do.
Mind freak.
Could you imagine it's hard enough to have like enough magic to do like a special every like couple of years.
Yeah.
Imagine having to put like a show on every week.
So where's he been? Is it, do you know?
I think he's got a show in Vegas, like a stage show.
Oh man,
Believe
these
or
magicians are killing it.
Yeah.
I mean, you just put on, how often are they performing? Like twice a week, once a month?
David Copperfield,
Yeah. Oh
who's
man.
a billionaire, does like 2 shows a day. And he's done that for like 20, 30 years.
2 shows a day, 7 days a week?
Oh yeah. He does like
Whoa.
500 something shows
Wow.
a year. And I don't know how old he's got to be like 65, 70, probably not 70.
A guy like Copperfield, though, before he dies, what do you think his plan of action would be? Would he like write a book, give away some of his secrets, or no? He just dies.
He has the world's largest collection of magic and Houdini memorabilia. So he has a warehouse.
No way.
That's full of just he's a billionaire. Like he just bought everything. He's got it all. So I'm sure he maybe will keep it a private
museum
collection or something.
something.
He owns like dozens of ventriloquist dolls. He owns Otto and George. He owns George.
What's Otto and George?
Otto and George, the famous ventriloquist duo that were stand-ups.
I only know Jeff Dunham.
Jeff Dunham. Okay, picture Jeff Dunham, but the dirtiest shit you've ever heard. Like fucked up Jeff Dunham.
When were they doing shows?
Otto, who's actually the man, not the puppet.
Okay.
By the way, Otto was died a few years ago, but like he was on Opie and Anthony all the time, and like he's respected by like the Jim Nortons, and like all those comics. You know,
Is Jeff Dunham doing Vegas residency like all these other magicians?
Jeff Dunham.
He's like a stand-up / ventriloquist.
Jeff Dunham's killing it, and you know he also opens all his specials. I think doing straight up stand up. So like he's like a talented stand up. You know,
When there's a magician at a party or you have some time to spend with a magician, you're always fascinated.
Yeah,
Me too.
You kind of always had to be on all the time. That's the thing that kind of bugged me is when I would be in high school. It's like, oh, here comes the jocks. Guess what? Like I was loved by everyone, but I had to I had to do the magic. Yeah.
Right?
I was the
monkey.
magic monkey. They're like, go ahead, do something. So I'd have to like do a card trick for like the football team, or they'd all be upset.
Is it a lot of tricking of the other person's mind, or it's more just focusing on the actual trick itself? I guess it's kind of both, right?
It's everything. There's all sorts of things that you're taking into consideration.
Oz Perlman was at my grandpa's 90th birthday.
Oh.
So this was probably like 8 years ago, right before I think he really started to hit his stride. And I saw recently, this was either last summer or 2 summers ago, he ran 100 miles. He went out to Montauk at the end of Long Island from New York City. And he never really was a runner like that, long distance, but it was just like all in his mind. He was like, all right, I've never done anything like this, but I'm confident that I could do this.
Well, I was a magician for 12 years and I've never been to the gym. So maybe it's just all in my mind.
Yeah, well, maybe you can start getting a really sick body just by thinking about it, right?
David Blaine's ripped. Chris Angel's ripped.
What's it? But they go to the gym, correct?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, you probably need
They're
something.
probably lifting a bunch of pussy, too.
Yeah, that's fucking definitely true, dude. But I miss watching magic on TV. That was a good time.
You don't see anything other than like Penn and Teller's Fool Us.
What's that, like HBO special?
No, that's like on the WB, or is it still
If they
called
have
that
anymore? I don't know.
Whatever is the WB now.
Channel 11.
Yeah,
was back when we were
so
kids.
That's a great show because they have magicians come on and they try to fool Penn and Teller, and it's been going on for like 9 seasons. And what that does is give like magicians like the only chance they'll ever have to be on like national television, like one after another. And they let the magician keep their video and let them put them on their own YouTube channel, which is pretty cool.
That is cool.
So you bring, like my buddy was on it. He got to put on his own channel. It's got like millions of views.
What kind of stuff was your buddy doing?
He's
still doing magic?
Oh, I have a couple friends that have been on Fool Us and they're like professionals. Like this is weird about Buffalo. For some reason, well, I can tell you why. It's one of the hubs of magic in the world for some reason.
Buffalo.
So I don't want to get into the weeds with this, but like back a long time ago in like the 50s and 40s, there's a hotel in Buffalo called the Forks Hotel. And it was run by a magician named Eddie Fechter, who was like one of the godfathers of close-up magic. And so he'd have magicians from all over the country come over and stay at the hotel, and they'd almost be doing like the week, like a comedian would, like guest magic. But they'd
be doing shows, or it'd be like a conference?
No. They do shows for the people that would come in. The hotel had a restaurant. So there was no stage, I don't think, but there was a horseshoe bar where the magician would do magic behind the bar, and there was maybe like 2 other rooms, so you could have like 3 magicians going at once, and it was like and a convention was born out of that where magicians all over the world go there every year now. It's not there anymore now. It's in a hotel. The Forks Hotel burnt down, I think, back in the 90s or something like that.
Did you ever go?
No, it was done. Yeah, it was done. But I did know very well one of the Eddie Fechter's right-hand men who was like the number 2 bar magician there. So
what do some of your friends...
And he invented the card on the ceiling trick.
What's that?
That's when you have someone pick a card, they sign it, they put it back in the deck, they shuffle it, and then the magician wraps a rubber band around the deck and throws it up at the ceiling, and then the deck comes down, but the card is still on the ceiling.
The card that they had picked before.
With the signature, so you know it's like definitely yours.
Bro, what? But how does that work?
I know. It's like,
logistically,
it's awesome.
Physically... Do you know in your head? I know you're not allowed to spill beans.
I used to do the card on the ceiling trick. And the hardest part is the throw. Because if that deck hits the ceiling at like a weird angle, then you don't get, and then it falls down and you look like an idiot. That's like the hardest thing. Dude, like you almost got to be a juggler to do that.
Yeah. Do you get nervous though before you're performing these tricks? You have so many different eyes on you. It's just more nerve-wracking than stand-up.
Yeah. Not only do you have to be entertaining and say shit, but you got to like move your hands and you got to like fool people and stuff like that. Yeah, I would get like a little, if I had like a big show coming up, or like I'd get a little shaky. I'd get a little Parkinson's magician-y.
How many times do you have to rehearse the trick before you try it for the first time?
Oh, that's a good question. In front of a mirror is nice. That's a good way to start. And then I would videotape myself. Because
stand up.
Yeah, because if you're in the mirror though, like, and if you do something and it doesn't look good, sometimes you'll like correct it. But if you do a camera, the camera doesn't lie. You can't like adjust, so you get to watch it after. And then after I thought it looked good on camera, I would show it to my magician friends, and they'd be like, "Yeah, this is bad. This is bad." And then I would do it for people. Do it for your family first.
Right.
everyone's had a magic kit, right? You probably did at least had like
not a kid.
You never did like a card trick when you were a kid? Or
No.
I thought like everyone had a magic experience.
No, I mean, like, I would see magicians maybe if I went to a bar mitzvah or like a party for an older friend's dad or something.
Yeah.
There'd be a magician there, but they'd always be really good.
Yeah. Was that like a stage thing?
No, I think that they would just go around to tables doing card tricks.
That's what I would do.
But I am thinking about in terms of seeing someone on a stage. I don't know if I've ever been to a live magic show where somebody's been sawed in half and then they go back. What's the deal with that?
I don't think I've seen the saw to half.
Do you know what I'm talking
That's
about?
old school. That's like become like a stereotype of magician. That's like like jive magic.
Okay. Fair enough. How do you think something like that works though? The sawing in half.
Oh, that one's pretty easy to find out if you just do a Google search. It's been done so much. But Penn and Teller did a great one where they sawed someone in half and like the blood and the guts came out and stuff like that. So like I love it when someone takes something and like makes it like updates it and makes it because everyone kind of knows how it's done.
Yeah.
And it's cool when like you flip it around.
What about the bunny into a dove out of a hat?
The bunny in the hat. I don't think anyone's actually done the bunny out of the hat. Like it's sort of just like a stereotype. Like maybe one person did it once and then it got to be in like a New Yorker cartoon and then now it's like the stereotype for magicians. But I never owned a bunny or a hat. So, and I don't know anyone who ever did. My grandpa used to eat bunnies.
That's not vegan. Where's a place in New York that you can go see a magic show now or a place that you deem reputable?
I saw a great magic show a couple months ago called Chamber Magic, and it's been going on for like 20 years. It's just spread by word of mouth. You go to this website, you buy tickets, and then you go to this really nice hotel, and you sit in this room, and it's like the room looks like it's from like the 1800s, and you see like an old school magic show with this guy. I believe his name's Steve Cohen.
Oh, maybe I have heard of that. Maybe I have heard. I think I actually have heard of that.
Highly recommended.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you got to dress up. You got to wear a shirt and tie. You're not allowed in. Like they want it to be like old school.
What?
It's supposed to be like a nice night on the town. Like it's like going to a fancy restaurant.
Is it like expensive to go see him?
It wasn't cheap.
Well, I mean, I would assume if you're wearing all those nice fancy clothes, it wouldn't be so cheap.
Yeah. It was. I don't remember how much it was.
Damn,
it was really
dude,
good though. Check it out.
Cool.
Yeah. If you want to impress a date, holy shit, because it's cool. It's like right this way, madam.
Yeah, that's
to see
dope.
The magician.
So what was the transformation from doing magic to comedy? I know you said you always kind of liked stand up, always liked comedy, but did you see yourself being a magician in the future when you were at college? Where'd you go to college?
Buff State.
Okay.
Yeah. When I moved here, I mean, I still did a little magic. Like I would, do it at bars and stuff for people. And, but like when I used to do magic professionally in Buffalo, we had a lot more space to work with. Like if you go to a restaurant, you could go do magic over for this group of people. And then you could go over here and do this people and then go out on the patio and do it for them. And then go over into the cigar lounge, and then go to behind the bar and do it for them. And then here, I feel like the restaurants were so small.
Yeah, no way.
You just turn around and like, oh no,
and
we saw everything.
Yeah, we just saw it. We're good.
So restaurant magic's kind of gone here, I think. And then I just started doing open mics and took a comedy class, and I liked it way better. And I just stopped doing it.
What was the best trick you've ever done?
The best trick I've ever done?
Yeah.
Oh,
or maybe
shit.
people's reactions, maybe also.
Yeah, there's stuff that just happens where
Do you ever surprise yourself?
yes, that's what I'm trying to say, where you thought you messed up and then it somehow comes around and fixes itself even better than it would have.
What?
It's so hard to explain. I can't even explain it. Like, do you ever do a stand-up show and someone says something in the audience and sets you up perfectly for a bit, for your most killer bit, and it seems like it came off the cuff?
Yes.
It's like that.
But in magic, I feel like it surprises everyone way more so.
This never happened, but let me like give you an example. Like, let's pretend I had a queen of clubs in my pocket, my front pocket, just for another trick I was going to do later or for something. And I say to someone, name a card, and it's in front of 40 people, and they say queen of clubs, and I go, wait a minute, oh, it's in my pocket right now. And then I'd like pretend like I meant to do that. And be like, here you go. Like shit like that has happened before in the past where I'm like, that was like the coolest thing ever. That was like magic to me.
That's dope, man. When was the last time you performed magic? When you were 23, you were saying?
If I get really drunk
Let's go.
and I'm at a party and there's a deck of cards, I have been known once or twice every couple years to like do something. But you really have to practice it.
Yeah.
So if I was to get back into magic, I'd have to practice for a few months because I really truly respect it. It's super hard to do.
Sure.
And I hate bad magic. Same thing. Like we hate bad comedy, right? And
I don't know if I've even really seen bad magic too.
Right. So I'd like to just practice it for a while before I got back into it.
Are you really good at shuffling the deck still? Like if you get your hand on cards,
I could do the basic shit and I could do a few little flourishy things, but there's people that are crazy that can do like crazy
like
one-handed
the
cards.
xylophone shit.
I could kind of do a card spring. It's been a while.
That's what it's called.
Yeah. Fans, card fans. Right. Charlier cut, where you cut with one hand.
Do you have to know the deck really well in terms of like counting cards to do card tricks? Or
towards the end, I was getting pretty good at that. Like, if someone was to hand me a chunk of cards, I could just kind of hold it and be like, okay, you got about 14 cards here. And I'd either be right on the money or I'd be at like 13 or 15.
So that you knew how many cards were actually in your hand.
Yeah, which isn't really, it could be turned into a trick, but it was more of just me being like, oh, I know like what a deck of cards feels like now. I never really did a magic trick with that skill. It's just sort of like a useless skill. I'm sure it could be turned into something though.
Right.
Yeah.
Do you know how to do a Rubik's Cube?
No, not at all. I just found out recently that there's algorithms to it. I just thought you just randomly.
Yeah.
No,
would you go to jail for a year or go to jail with a Rubik's Cube and be let out once you fix the Rubik's Cube?
I'm not interested in Rubik's Cubes, but I do know how to take them apart and put them back together.
What do you mean?
You just need a key. You just need a car key. And there's a place you can pry it open and the whole thing comes apart in all cubes and you can just put it all back together.
With the color coordinator?
Yeah, and then pop it back together.
What?
Yeah.
I had never known that.
Very easy, yeah.
Damn, dude. This turned into a magic podcast. I freaking love it, dude. That's really great. What's something maybe fascinating that people, this may sound silly, don't know about magic? Can it be learned by the average Ted Jones?
That's a good question. So like what I was saying before, I feel like most kids, when they're like 12, 13, have like a magic kit. They get one for their birthday or something. And I think what separates the people that stay with it and the people that where they just ends up in their toy box is having new people to show tricks for. Because it's sort of like comedy where you're constantly doing the same bits over and over again. So most kids, they get a card trick, they learn the card trick, and then they show it to their friends at school, they show it to their family, and they're like, okay, now what do I do with this? Then they lose interest in it. So you got to either buy more magic tricks. You can buy magic. That's a huge market, buying tricks, selling tricks.
What do you mean? How do you buy and sell tricks?
Well, magicians sell tricks. There's magicians that like, there's online magic stores. There's brick and mortar magic stores. There's people that publish books.
You can go to a class maybe?
You can go to a class. You can go to a lecture. So there's all sorts of ways of doing that. But I think having a fresh group of people all the time keeps your interest going. When I was a kid, I was volunteering at a magic shop. So I got customers coming in every day. So I got to do the same shit over and over again, make it better. Come up with my patter. That's what they call the words that go along with the trick.
Your patter? What?
Patter.
Just like each move?
No, that's like your dialogue. It's like it's like you're in a play, right? Your lines.
How would it go?
Well, just whatever trick you would do, you'd have lines that you'd say every time. It's just like doing a bit.
But when you're doing improv magic, do you still have patter?
Yeah, for the most part, for whatever I'm about to do.
Do you see yourself ever getting back into it? Seriously?
Maybe if I have a kid, I would love to teach a kid magic. That'd be cool. Can't get them into it too young though.
Why?
If they're too young, they're just going to lose interest in it. I feel like a good age is like 8.
Because they just
10.
can't process it. if they're too young?
Yeah, and it's also very difficult. I used to do magic tricks for kids. Like I used to do some kids shows, and if the kids were too young, they're terrible audience.
Right.
You'd think they'd be amazed, but kids don't know how reality works. Right? So like, oh, that coin just
That's
disappears
insane.
in your hand.
Yeah, standard.
Yeah, that's what coins do. Like I remember being really little, seeing a magic show, and the magician's like, I put this coin in my hand. It goes up my arm and out my other, and it goes in the, and I was like, yeah.
You're like, yeah, obviously.
Yeah, that's what they do. So you got to actually learn how the world works first in order for you to appreciate magic. And I think 8 to 10 is a good age to get into it.
So would you maybe combine magic and stand up?
It depends on how bad my career is going.
Or good, dude. Or good. You get your first hour and then you're like, all right, second hour, I'm doing a quarter magic.
I am not opposed to it. I'm fine with whatever. We'll see when we get there, though.
Ventriloquist,
I would like
though.
to not. Oh,
What's the
hierarchy of entertainment?
Yeah, why is that considered magic?
A ventriloquist isn't magic.
Okay, it's not.
I mean, maybe it is because it looks like the guy's not talking and the thing's talking.
Do people consider Jeff Dunham a magician?
No.
No, they consider him just stand up and.
But a lot of times, magicians, ventriloquists, jugglers, clowns, they all get sort of lumped into one category. It's all shit you'd find at a magic shop. So I could see why people would think that's a magic trick.
You think David Blaine or David Copperfield is the best of all time, magician-wise?
Best of all time?
Sure. Or Houdini, maybe?
I mean, there's people you've never even heard of that I think are
Really?
the best of all time. Yeah.
Why haven't I heard of them?
Because they're either famous in like Brazil or like, if you want to talk about just like sleight of hand guys, like someone like, look him up like Juan Tamarez. I think he's from South America. One of the best card magicians ever. Or like Tom Mullica, which if you type in Tom Mullica on YouTube, cigarette trick, it's 14 minutes long. It's the greatest piece of magic I've ever seen. You'll shit your pants.
Can you summarize it a little bit without giving it away?
Oh,
no, it's so hard.
You don't even want me to. You just got to watch it. You won't believe it.
The cigarette trick?
You're not going to believe it.
He probably just cuts up the cigarette and then puts it back together perfectly.
No,
Some shit.
you're not going to believe
I
it.
had no idea.
You could
puts
guess
it up his nose, comes out his mouth.
You could guess for about 12 hours, and you're never going to figure out what this trick is about. It's one of my favorite things to show someone.
The cigarette trick.
Tom Mullica cigarette magic.
That's sick. What was one of the coolest tricks you've seen live in person?
Oh, live?
Damn, I'm hammering you with the good questions. Huh?
So when I was like 12 or 13, I saw David Copperfield in Toronto. My grandparents took me, and he did this really cool trick where he made like this car appear on stage, like surrounded by the audience. Like it was like this it looked like a 1950s or 40s coupe or something like that. It was pretty cool.
What are your thoughts behind how he did that?
I have
How do
no
you perceive
idea.
it?
I have
no idea really.
No, I never did stage magic. There's stage magic. There's parlor magic. There's close-up magic.
What's parlor magic?
Parlor magic's like in between close-up and stage magic.
So-
Parlor magic would be like maybe you got like 8 people sitting around a parlor, and I go up and I take like a billiards ball and I make it disappear or make it change into a dove or something, or it's like for a slightly larger group than like close-up magic, which close-up magic I feel like that's like 4 or 5 people at a table.
Is stage magic
Stage magic
the
is like,
hardest?
I don't know. I've never done it, but I assume that it's got its own challenges. I do know though, like a lot of stage magic are these big, like you said, like the saw the woman in half thing, these big boxes that in devices that do things. So you got to like buy all that stuff, I assume, unless you make it yourself. I don't know. But a lot of that shit's like tens of thousands of dollars for like those. Magic is not a good hobby to get into if you want to save money.
Really?
It's very expensive. If you want to buy tricks from people, if you want to buy a few books and just read books and learn magic from books with everyday objects like cards and coins and stuff like that, all right, then it's cheap. But like when you start buying things from shops,
What kind of things would you need to buy?
special
That's
secret devices and And also with magic stuff, there's like never any returns.
How do you mean?
Well, you know, you can return a hat you got on Amazon, right? But if you buy a magic trick, you learn the secret, you've bought the secret, so the magician won't give you a refund. Because you got the thing that's the most valuable part. Like, you can't give that back.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Did you have a mentor?
Yeah, I had a couple mentors. One of them was on Fool Us. You can check out his videos on his channel, Garrett Thomas. Really good. He fooled Penn and Teller with his ring magic, so you should check that out. And then the one guy I was telling you about, the old guy who was the bartender at the Forks Hotel. He lived to like 98 years old, and he used to come into the magic shop where I worked, and his name is Carl Norman, and he was awesome guy. He was doing magic until he was like 95 years old.
And did he just die with a lot of his tricks still in his head, or did he let people know
That man forgot more magic than most people will know in their entire lives. Like, that's how
through
much he
dementia
knew.
from Diet
No,
Coke?
just through doing it for 50 years, 60 years. Crazy. I have some of his old magic jackets back in my hometown closet. They're like from like the 50s, like yellow suits and stuff like that. They were going to throw them out, so I grabbed a couple.
And it's just the performance aspect where they would wear suits like this.
Yeah.
What's the deal with the attire behind magic? You know, why don't people go up there like we go up?
Well, it's definitely a little less formal now, right? Now, you know, David Blaine has the black shirt and the jeans and stuff like that.
V-neck, yeah.
And then Chris Angel dresses like he went to Hot Topic.
Yeah, he's goth, dude.
Yeah, I don't think you see too much of the tuxedo anymore, unless it's like a formal stage show. I think that's kind of going away. Most magicians, I can tell a magician when I can see a magician walking down the street.
No.
Yeah. They usually have like a black button down shirt, and they usually have like a chain on, and like they usually have, I don't know, they just have like a resting magician face.
No way.
Yeah, I can tell.
Even in the city, walking by thousands of people a day.
I've done this twice. I've been doing a comedy show, and I look in the front row, and there's someone, I'm like, "You're a magician, aren't you?" And they go, "Yeah." They'll usually have like a piece of jewelry with like a spade on it or something like that. They just have this magic look to them. I don't know what it is.
Has magic kind of weaned off the past 10 years? Like, without the shows on TV, without like a lot of press for David Blaine? What would you say is the state of magic?
It's been 10 years since I kind of stopped, but I don't even know. Cause like I was thinking about this the other day, like now you can go on YouTube and watch tutorials on how to do almost everything. Like now, if a magician puts something out, there's gonna be like some 8-year-old kid that just starts up his iPhone and tells everyone how it's done. Like you can, I don't even know how that works nowadays, and how magicians can like keep their secrets.
Do you think the best magic is ahead of us?
I sure hope so.
Love that, dude. Like magicians hanging out with aliens and shit, and be like, "Well, I'm not gonna tell you how I did it."
Yeah, I love magic.
On the UFO, dude, that is really fucking cool.
Yeah. Maybe someday I'll do it.
How's comedy going? Side note.
Side note? I don't know. Now, after this conversation, I feel like I should be doing magic.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Fascinating.
I know my parents still wish I did it. They seen my act a couple years ago, and they're like, "You ever thought about doing magic still?"
Is there a market? Is there a market for it? For a guy who's magic besides this guy, Steve Cohen?
I think you can make a lot of money doing magic.
Really?
Especially now that I've been doing comedy almost as long as I did magic. If I combine both of them,
bro, that's what I'm saying,
really
dude.
funny
We
magic
need
act.
this. We need this, man. For real.
I feel like magic's not respected by comedians, though. That you just get.
I respect him.
I know you do.
Maybe not.
You're
others.
a good guy.
Yeah, yeah, I'm a good guy.
But can't you see comics shitting on that? Like, oh, look,
why
this
would
guy,
they shit on it?
This guy comes up. Look, he's not a real comic. I want to.
Oh, you mean going up on stage and just doing straight magic?
Well,
instead of
comedy magic.
How would you describe that?
Magic with
magic.
a joke, with jokes. Really funny jokes.
Do you have any?
Most magicians are comedy magicians.
Uh-huh.
There's only a few really serious ones. Like David Blaine, which David Blaine, by the way, is one of the funniest people I've ever met.
Really?
Yeah, super funny.
Why is that?
I don't know. He's a funny guy. And then he's just super serious when he does his magic on TV and stuff.
But like him eating glass.
Which is real.
Yeah.
And him eating, what else did he eat? Didn't he eat like a frog or something? He puked out a frog.
Puked it out.
Yeah. That's real.
What's the disconnect between that being real and him not getting sick?
So
there's his face.
There's a thing called geek magic, and there's different categories of magic. There's vanishes, transpositions, which means two things switch places, levitations, animations. Animations just where something you could make something move, but it wouldn't necessarily float. Disappearances, appearances. There's also like a weird category of magic called like geek magic. And back in the day, it was very hard to find things on that. But there's a few old books. I used to have one of them where it would teach you how to eat glass, put put a roofing nail up your nose, eat a razor blade, eat a light bulb, like stuff like that. There's this book. It was called this book was called like Swami Mantra or something like that. That would teach you all that stuff. Stuff like that, like the weird body tricks, like stick a pin through your hands. Yeah,
levitating.
Like David Blaine once, when I was hanging out with him, he took one of those acupuncture needles and he stuck it through these two bones in my hand.
In your hand?
In my hand, and it started to come out the other side, and it was real. It was real, but it's just meat here, so it only really hurts when it goes through the skin and it starts to come out the other side. But in the middle, there's like no nerves or anything like that.
So he learned the pressure points?
I don't know. There's just weird geek shit that people have figured out.
He knows so many different types of magic.
He knows a shit ton of things. And the people that work for him are some of the greatest magic historians. And they own like the rarest books in the world that aren't even supposed to exist.
Oh my God, that's sick. Does he have anything on the horizon that you potentially know about that's coming out?
No.
Because he hasn't done stuff, I guess, since the hot air balloon 3 years ago.
That's what we were talking about before. Yeah, the thing that he was talking about on Rogan, when he was on Rogan.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's the last time I heard about him. Yeah, I don't know what he's doing. He's got a kid. That takes away a lot of time.
Yeah, that's insane. That's no magic, dude. Damn, freaking Joe, this has been an unreal episode. I mean, what's the most fascinating thing that maybe the average person doesn't know about magic? Besides the obvious, you got no idea what the fuck is going on.
The most fascinating thing, I don't know, that the magic community is very supportive. That's what I've found out. It's like it's a brotherhood. And
yeah, where are the female magicians?
Oh, that's a good question. Yeah, there hardly aren't any, are there? Maybe now there are a little bit more, but it's definitely male oriented. I don't know why. Maybe dudes are the only ones that want to just like sit in their rooms in front of a mirror for 8 hours and practice a coin vanish.
Yeah, and you can pick up chicks that way. You don't really chicks don't really pick up dudes.
That's probably yeah. You want people to like you. That's why you learn magic, and people already like girls.
That's freaking true, man.
I don't know. I know magicians that were really good at picking up girls at bars with magic. Like they would clean house. I never could do that. Here's the thing. Magic is great to like as an icebreaker because you show like a girl a cool magic trick and then she goes, "Oh, this guy's cool." But then what you have to do is you have to put the deck of cards away and you have to actually like start talking to them.
Yeah, dude. That's like today with the dating apps, right?
Yeah. You have to like have your personality come through and then like magic time's over now. Right. Now it's time to be yourself. Life. And now we're going to learn about each other. And now I'm going to ask you to, come back to my place. What I would do is be like, "Oh, this girl loves this card trick. Let me do 12 more." "Oh, do you like coins?" And by the end of that, I'm just the magic guy now.
What about money magic? This question.
Money magic?
Yeah, the people turning 1 into 100.
Oh, okay. What do you need? What about that?
How does that happen?
I can't tell you how that's done.
Fuck, dude. But are there magicians who can literally make themselves rich through magic?
Oh, you mean like okay, does that $1 bill really turn into 100? I'd say probably not. I'd say you probably have to do the trick using $101. That's probably the preparation for that.
That's freaking sick, dude. That's sick, man.
Yeah. Yeah. No.
Well, I think you should definitely make magic part of your hour when you get to it.
Wouldn't that be cool? Like maybe like the last 5 minutes. I go,
no, dude, more. Fucking more, dude. Give us 20, dude.
My wife would love it.
I would love it too.
She started dating me thinking that I was a magician because that's what it said in my profile.
Yeah.
And that's when I was just sort of slowly stopping it. So she never really got to see anything. And so
she'd appreciate it.
Yeah.
Dope. Joe Russell, man. Thank you so much for coming on the pod. Before we get out of here, dude, we're popping up your Instagram. Please let us know where we can find you and what you got coming up.
Jokes Russell on Instagram. And me and my wife have a cheese show on YouTube. It's called The Cheese Show. If you go to YouTube, type in cheese show. It's the first thing that comes up. We have a guest on, eat a cheese. It's really fun.
Love it. And when you do vegan cheese, you let your boy Ted Jones.
Okay.
Guys, thanks so much for tuning in and listening. This was quite the episode. Write me an email, tedjonesworld@gmail.com, and we'll see you next time. Peace.